Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to Falling Frontier. Today's video is going to be a bit different from regular videos as it is not actually my gameplay that you're about to watch. This is a clip of Falling Frontier, which is going to come out later this year in June. That's when the early access is planned. And this is a clip that was sent to me by the developer at my request. I got really excited after discovering this game on a different channel and I thought that I'm going to spread the word about it. So I got in touch with the dev, really nice guy, and just me doing a video currently is the best way for me to help him, just to get your awareness for it. Now, if those of you, or for those of you who have watched The Expanse, you might actually feel right at home with this game. It's a space RTS game, which as the channel's own trailer indicates, and the channel's, I mean, the channel from Stutterfox Studios, which is the dev. As he indicates there, it's a mix between RTS and 4X. So it's real-time strategy meets the 4X genre, which means expansion and, at some point extermination, because it is an RTS, there will be war. How do I put this? As you might be able to tell, I'm out of my depth because this is not a usual video where I can just talk about what is happening during the gameplay because it is not actually my gameplay. What we can see over here on the screen, in the middle is the spaceport. The spaceport is your first building and you will always start with this, from what I understand. The spaceport is the gateway between your colony, which is down on the planet below, and everything that's going to be happening in space, which is where everything will be happening. In space, you can get resources. You can get the resources that are lit or that are shown here, which is ore and fuel. You cannot, however, get citizens. That's the third resource. And that third resource is only acquirable through planets. People apparently don't really have a good habitat in space, or at least not good enough to procreate. So any new citizens that you're going to need are going to have to come from the planet. The citizens, again, as far as I understand it, there might be mistakes or stuff is subject to change. They pay taxes. They pay more taxes when they're on the planet than when they're in space. So the money icon that you can see over there, that's the amount of money that is being, that's available, and it will gradually increase as you get more people to tax. As you can see, I'm just using VLC to show you this clip, so it's not gameplay in the sense that I have it myself. Over here we see 85,004 citizens, and it is my understanding that that is the populace that you have down below on the colony. So you can still use those people, bring them up, and you're going to see that happen in either later this video or in one of the other clips that you can see on the videos on the channel of the actual developer. Anyway, what else do we have? Not that much going on currently because the game just got started. So they don't have any ships, they only have one station and they only have one planet. There is the possibility to take over more planets, more colonies, but that is not going to be part of this particular video. What I would like to ask you is to note the music. Music is by Scott Buckley, more on that guy down below in the description. And it is just really good music for a game like this. So let's have a bit of a look at the gameplay and I'll pause it every now and then to highlight items as I see them. Okay, that was quick. We have over here send people to orbit. So we currently can send people to this spaceport. It looks like there's also some more resources. There is more populace on the planet, and this matches up. So you got 80,000 people in space. You got 85,005 people, which matches up to the 5,005 which are down below on the planet. And over here we got the fuel plus the ore, and that means that all of these resources are available. What these icons mean, I can't tell you. But what we do know is that they're going to be building a new station. Let me just take it back 1 second. The civilian shipyard. Purpose, non-combat starship production. It's going to take you a bunch of population, resources of course, and cash. And considering that the guy is going to be paying 30,000 cash for this, that's half of his resources. So, deploys that. And that is going to start generating, or start building, I suppose, more colony ships, or more resource ships. Now we have started on Kajul, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, which is a moon, I think, orbiting Duresh. Let's have a look at the military part. Here we go. This is the military map, at least again as I understand it. And over here we have Dume, which is another planet. I'm not sure which solar system this is supposed to be. And from what I understand from the dev, there is going to be a dynamically generated solar system every time. You pick what backstory you have, which means that you start on this moon here, or a moon maybe surrounding Doom, or whatever. And the solar system is going to be different every time. Anyway, moving on. There's our spaceport, orbiting Kajul, so orbiting the homeworld. He's now going to set up a new one. Why exactly he does it over there, I don't know. Might just be to get access to more resources. I haven't quite worked this out from the gameplay. Let me just move it back a bit, because he detected an enemy battle group. Here. Battle group, enemy detected. Unknown compositions of enemy ships detected. So we know that there is something out there. We don't exactly know what. I don't know if at this point he has any warships. I don't think so, because it seems like it just started. So whose these things are, I don't know. Operations, large, small, and enemy. Scans have found a large flotilla close to Kajul. Scans have picked up a small flotilla next to Kajul. That might be this group here, the other one. And enemy. Small unknown composition detected near Kajul. I'm again not sure which one that's supposed to be. That's the large group apparently. That's the small one. That's the enemy one. And then there is another option, which is explore. Explore asteroid field identified near Duresh. That seems to be that one. There we go. So from here you can gather more of the resources that you will need to start building more ships. And there's even more. Investigate. Resource site picked up on scanners close by to Duresh. So there is yet more that you can do around this, I'm not sure what it is. Is that a gas giant that you're orbiting? Anyway, time for a military shipyard. Purpose, combat-ready starship construction. This is where it gets really interesting. Now, over here we have the civilian shipyard. We're going to come back to the military shipyards in a bit. This thing allows for the construction of resource ships and construction ships. We also have capability to repair ships. I'm not sure if that is just civilian or also military. In order to do that, it's going to require resources. It's going to require ore and fuel. So what you're going to need to do is set up a logistics network. And fortunately, that is part of the game. Also part of the game is a crew system. It consists of admirals, captains, navigators, engineers, and gunnery sergeants. Now, I asked the dev and he said, yes, you can rename these. So if you want to, you can just rename them. I don't know, play your own The Expanse, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar, Warhammer, whatever sci-fi you're into, and just have your crew named after the people that you want. These guys, apparently, from what I have heard, can be trained up. They will impact the stats of the ships that they serve on, and if you lose them, they're gone. But there is apparently also such a thing as escape pods, which means that the crew can be recovered. And especially high-ranking officers, of course, will be very valuable and might warrant a rescue mission. Here we go. This is the spaceport, and the spaceport also has these supplies. It has transfers outstanding, ships in transit, and you can send people to a specific destination from it. So he's going to send some people over to the civilian shipyard. Here's the military shipyard. And from here we currently can build frigates and destroyers. This icon over here leads me to believe that there is research in the game. Again, how exactly that works, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But for now you can only build frigates and destroyers. But there are more ship classes in the game. And here we go. It's not like you're just building a ship. You get to pick what goes on the ship. It has two sides, external and internal. On the external side, you can have on these empty nodes weapon systems of your own choosing. What you're going to see is that they have Mark 1, Mark 2 and Mark 3, Mark 3 being the most advanced. And I suppose that you will have to research these. Build cost, bottom left, $87.50, Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it, 3770 ore and 3010 fuel. Talking about fuel, a ship can do maneuvers around the solar system. It can do that at sublight speeds and keep that up indefinitely, but it's going to be really slow. If it goes faster than light, so FTL, that's when it's going to start consuming fuel. Now there is also a strategic consideration to this, because if you do use FTL, you're going to leave a bit of a sensor pling. Enemy ships, stations and whatever will know that you're out there and that you just moved at higher speeds. If you want to do a sneak attack of sorts, you might be able to do that at sublight speeds, but you would expect quite a bit longer of a journey. Now, what we have over here is a template for destroyers. So there are templates for every ship that you can build. And let's have a look at the weapons that you can put on. Just look at the detail here, by the way. This ship looks so good. Here we go. You can keep it empty. You can put a Mark II pulse cannon, railgun or missile on it, or a multi-missile even. Pulse cannon, railgun, missile or multi-missile. What exactly these things do, how much DPS they have, I wouldn't really look into this too much, because these stats are probably subject to change. And again, whether you need to research the Mark III railgun, probably. How you do that, I don't know. It might not even have been developed yet. And there's your destroyer. Moving on to the internal, it has the jump drive, the standard jump drive installed on the ship. This is going to allow the FTL jumps, so faster than light. Then you have a spare node. Slot can be upgraded to house a number of crew and ship enhancing components. You have the crew quarters, the bridge, another spare node, and eventually, if you're happy, you can just build the design. Of course, the more advanced stuff you put on it, the more expensive your ship will become. Here we can see what the different DPSs are. Looking at the DPS of the Railgun Mark III, it's really high at 680. But considering that it only has a rate of fire of 6 rounds per minute, that means that these things do 100 points of damage, which is great if you hit. If you don't hit your target, you're going to be reloading for a while. I imagine that smaller ships, maybe the frigates that we've seen, are harder to hit, and thereby the Mark II railgun would be more efficient, or at least more suitable to dealing with that threat. It has a lower DPS, far, far lower, but instead of firing 1 round every 10 seconds, it fires 1 round every 5 seconds. Sorry, every 2 seconds. 30 rounds a minute rate of fire. So this thing is going to be capable of putting out a lot more damage, but the range is less, and of course the DPS is, well, about 1/8 of what you would normally get. Then we have the missile, similar, well, actually identical stats to the Mark III railgun, but again, don't look too deeply into those. Oh, and you can also change the colors, as you can see here. Picking a crew for it. I'm not exactly sure what he did just there. Let's have a look. It's like he went into training or something. Yeah, rank to train, captain. And that goes for... I'm not even sure who. Apparently, if you want to train a captain, it's going to cost you 2,600 crew or citizens and 12,000 bucks. So it's an expensive, it's an expensive crew member. And that probably goes for most. So keep in mind, you really want to rescue your crew. Fast forward. Oh yeah, this is pretty important. This game is going to be single player. Maybe eventually there is going to be multiplayer, but if at all, it's going to be far and deep into the future. So single player mostly, or rather single player only. The whole game is being developed by one guy. All of the stuff that you can see is developed by one guy. So there is no huge studio behind this, it's all one guy, which for me makes it all the more impressive. That ship looks like it just got disassembled. Transfers outstanding, so those are transfers which are outgoing. Here's the spaceport again. Shipping stuff to the military shipyards. And here's the missile destroyer that was built. You can see it has 3 crew members currently, or, well, maybe not just 3 crew members, but 3 officers serving on it. It has 4,000 fuel, it has 12,000 hit points. What the 0 means, I don't know. And the rest of these buttons, standard speed, jump, retreat, I imagine. Something about a planet, settings, and I don't know what that is. As I have seen in a different trailer, bigger is not always better. Because sometimes you have, let's say a cruiser, a ship that is far larger than your destroyer or frigate. But if that thing is only packing those, let's say the tier 3 or Mark 3 railguns, and is not able to bring those guns to bear on your frigate, well, then your frigate might actually win. It might be a bit of a David versus Goliath fight, but if Goliath cannot turn his guns around quick enough, then David might just very well win. Let's see, this looks to be the resource field that we saw earlier. And there's the DD, sorry, the destroyer. Destroyers are automatically abbreviated to DD in my mind. That's the jump. That's the FTL. So it jumps and it rematerializes right there. Or should do. There she is. Now it looks to me like these icons are green, or well, white, I don't know. At least they're not giving me an indication that they have a malfunction, which means that the ship is okay. Now, the ship is going into the asteroid field. This is the resource field, I think, that we saw previous. And as you can see, the ship can only see as far as, let's say, the radar, sonar, LiDAR, whatever you want to use goes. That means you cannot see beyond this asteroid. And that opens up a lot of options. Because if you cannot see beyond that asteroid, then that means that there might be an opportunity for an enemy ship to lie there in waiting. Again, the frigate versus cruiser comes to mind. If you park your cruiser in an asteroid field, and a couple of frigates come out zooming from behind the asteroids, you're going to have a problem. Contact. And here the conflict begins. That looks like another destroyer, as it is the same design. Our missile destroyer took a bit of damage. It's now down to 11,300 hit points. How the damage is brought into the ship, what sort of effects you're going to see, whether you're going to see weapon systems get knocked out, I don't know. All of that stuff, I suppose, is either not been made public yet, or I haven't found it yet, or, well, it could be subject to change even if it is out there. Again, note the music. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. See, this is what I meant. This ship was hiding behind the asteroid. And we move on a little bit, and it subtly joins the fight. Because this guy is unaware that there is another destroyer around here. This looked like it was a fairly even fight, and then out of the woodworks, or out of the asteroid field, comes another destroyer, and now it's a 2-on-1. Whether there's going to be any close-in weapon systems, there we go, we just lost line of sight again because the crew or the destroyer is supposedly over there. Whether there's going to be any close-in weapon systems, any missile defense systems, I don't exactly know. I asked about aircraft carriers or carrier classes, but I don't think that the dev has made a decision on those yet. Now, as you can see over here, this destroyer, I'm not sure if it got to a point where it was drifting, but it just crashed right into that asteroid and blew it apart. She's not doing very well, though. Something else that I wanted to remark, by the way. The game is 2D. It's two-dimensional. Even though it is space, a two-dimensional field is for most people just easier to play on and easier to understand. So it's not a 3D playing field. There's the other destroyer again. This time around, considering that he's outgunned and he's already lost a third of his hit points, I think he's going to try and play it safe and use that asteroid to his advantage. Because this destroyer is potentially out of range, and this one will not be able to see him if he plays the same trick and hides behind the asteroid. That destroyer is not doing so well. Now he's back, and it looks like that destroyer is now toast. There she goes. But both of those are not looking too happy. It looks like both the destroyers got killed off. So this is, I think, ours, and that one was theirs, and here's another ship. But since the main destroyer is dead, we can't see the other ship anymore. No line of sight, no sensor field. Now here are the resources. This is, I think, a little later. This is the EFV Hannibal. And this one is capable, I think, of resource mining. It has a cargo hold of 5,000. Has a small crew on board, or at least a few officers. And you can pick, as far as I understand it, between either fuel here or ore over there. So you can decide which resource you want to mine. But we're not the only ones there. Now onto the logistics map. From the logistics map, again, as far as I understand it, you can set your orders to distribute resources from or to some specific point. So from the spaceport to wherever you need it. To the other spaceport in this case. Now, that for now is going to conclude this part of the gameplay. This is the gameplay that I got sent by the dev, but there is a lot more that he has on his own channel. I'm linking that down below in the chat section, in the comment section, so you can easily find it. If this is a game that you find interesting, then the best way to support the dev, to keep this thing getting developed, again, it is a one-man project, follow him on his own channel. Add the game to your Steam wishlist. Have just a general interest in it. Keep a close eye on it. I think it's going to be a really, really good space game. And I would love to play it. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a few more months. Anything else I haven't mentioned that I wanted to mention? No, I think this pretty much covers it. Oh yeah, by the way, that's something that I haven't really seen in this part of the gameplay, but food and ammo, by the way, are also parts for a warship to keep in mind. So it's not like your warship is going to be capable of going out into space indefinitely, because if they run out of food, you're going to have a really hungry crew. So you might want to make sure that they get back to a spaceport every now and then. It's not like you can keep your ship out there indefinitely. If the ship is forced to be abandoned, then you can have emergency escape pods. And apparently food gets transferred to the escape pods so the crew can last longer in space. Now that is awesome as far as I'm concerned. I don't know of any other game that does something like this. Everything that you need to know about the game, or at least that you can find out about the game, down below in the description and or the comment section. I'm really looking forward to it. I hate that it's going to take another 4 months before we get into early access, but I am really looking forward to playing this and showing you more and more and more of this game. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think of it. I hope that you enjoy what you're seeing so far. I am just about salivating at this trailer, or this, sorry, not a trailer, this is gameplay. The gameplay that's on the channel from Stutter Fox Studios itself. It's just going to be a really good game. Oh, and a last note about the music. Music is made by Scott Buckley. He is sometimes live streaming, and I've never seen somebody produce music live, but he does it. So link to him as well, and just have a look at his Twitch every now and then. See what he's doing and how he's creating some of the music for this game or for others. Anyway, that's all. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section, and I'll see you soon for a normal video.